Airline stocks, they haven't done anything in a few months, and we think we could be at a point where we are finally starting to see a bit more upside potential as we continue to see more reopening. Now, it's important, as we always say, to not only distinguish time frames, but also distinguish different parts of the market that could do well and not well based on various different things happening. This specific idea here today on the airlines is really based on, again, a continued reopening. Really doesn't have anything to do with sort of broader debt issues and things like that, which is structurally and fundamentally a different issue than just a reopening trade. So let's have a look at a couple of these things and see if we can make some sense of what's going on here. We'll start off with a very simple chart. We're looking at something like Delta Airlines here. Ticker symbol DAL. We could look at something like United Airlines. UAL would be the ticker for that one. You could look at something like Spirit Airlines. A little bit of a different beast. Really, we're more focused here today on the sort of the U.S. carriers that also do a lot of international stuff. Spirit Airlines doesn't do much of that, if any of that at all. And what we're starting to see is let's maybe talk sort of structural situation first. I've said this now a few times in videos of the past week and a half, or maybe 2 weeks. U.S. finally opening its borders, other countries doing similar types of moves, which should be ultimately over time conducive to more international travel. Again, plenty of other factors to take into consideration here. Higher price of oil, although that's usually no longer such a big deal for airlines, as they've hedged it. They tend to be hedging quite well. But just from a price action perspective, just look at Delta here for a minute. We peaked like most equities did for the most part underneath the surface in the springtime. March-April period for this stock. Some stocks didn't top until May or June. Then from that perspective, we've had a pretty nice corrective move, about 27-30%, which is kind of what you want to see. We've built a nice base. We're breaking back above all the moving averages and all that sort of technical stuff that you want to see. Momentum continues to build up and alongside. One thing I do want to point out before we get too sort of bullish without restrictions here is that our market rover still has something like in this case Delta Airlines in basically bearish to neutral territory. You can see what the market rover does. It tells you when focus on the backgrounds. You can see the red background is when you're in a bearish trend, and it gives you trades along the way. You can see how nicely those work. Those are swing trades within a primary trend. Then we had a bull trend in something like Delta from November of last year until basically July. From a trending perspective, nice trades along the way. But we remain in a choppy we don't have a real confirmed bullish trend yet in Delta. You can see the stock went back to neutral and basically still partially bearish right now. So we don't really necessarily want to get all bullish from an investment perspective. From a trading perspective, it is something we think is worth trying. Delta here, if you look at it just from a sort of its average true ranges and kind of what's an expected potential move, I would expect about $48 on the upside as a potential sort of swing trading target, and quite frankly, I think any drop at the very latest below 40, probably even below 41, probably not something you want to watch much more, because we did have a nice bullish day on Friday, along with the broader market. Friday, the 1st of October. One day does not make a trend, but it was fairly widespread. So that's an idea here in Delta. Hope it makes sense. Any questions, let us know. We'll see you soon.